All right, now let's talk about scaling. By now, you would have created an ad account, you'd have had your campaigns running, and you'd have been promoting profitably on TikTok. So if you come to this section, it means that you're happy with what's happening and now you want to take your brand to the next level. So you're doing 100 orders a day and now you're trying to reach 1,000 or 10,000 orders a day. So how do you scale on TikTok? Now, as I mentioned earlier, you do not touch the ad group that is performing well. That stays the same. So what you do here is the first method, increase the budget. So with that ad group, gradually increase the budget. This is a slow scaling method wherein you do not aggressively scale, but step by step you increase the budget. So you increase it by 10 to 15%, maximum 20%. The next day you increase it again by the same amount and continue with this process. The days that are profitable, you keep increasing the budget by 10 to 20% and you gradually scale. Now let's say you want to scale aggressively. You have a sale, it's a limited time offer, you want to reach out the maximum people possible. Now, if you change the budget by 50%, example, you're paying 2,000 rupees and then you change it to 4,000 rupees directly, the algorithm, the optimization will take a drift and the ads will not be as profitable as they were. So what we do is we keep it as it was, but we duplicate the ad group. So there's an option on the ad group to copy it. Copy it as it is, and then you give it a budget that is double the original. So for example, you have an ad group performing well with a budget of 2,000 rupees. You create a copy, you give it a budget of 4,000 and you run it. Now what happens is the budget becomes 6,000 rupees, 2,000 for the old one and 4,000 for the new one. Keep the previous ad running as it is. Remember what I said earlier, do not stop or pause an ad that is running well. So now from 2,000, you've aggressively scaled to 6,000. The next day you can do the same and create an ad group of 12,000. And that's how you duplicate it by doubling the budget. The third option is the BTD method. This means the best time of day. Analyze and see what the best time of the day for your ad is, when the cheapest cost per conversion is, and show the ads during that time and give it a high budget. Okay, fourth is traffic method. This is not a type of scaling, but it goes hand in hand when you are scaling. This runs simultaneously with other campaigns. Run a traffic campaign, send people to your website so TikTok understands what kind of people are more likely to buy. The fifth is revised duplication method. For this one, we do the exact same thing we did in method 2, the duplication method. However, here you do 3 different things. First, you create a copy in the same campaign. Then you create a copy of the same ad group in a new campaign. And then the third option is you run the same campaign and the same ads in an entirely new ad account altogether. So you create a new ad account, create a new campaign, a new ad group, and then you run it in there. This helps TikTok to identify different pockets of audience in your same interest category, and that's how you end up scaling. One more method is to remove any interests. So once you have a lot of purchases, leave the interest category empty and let TikTok find the right audience for you. Now let's move on to scaling with lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences are very powerful. As I told you, you give TikTok data that these are the type of people that have purchased from my website. Now you find the people who look like them. Let the data do the talking and you will be happy with the results. So in this one, you create a lookalike of the following 4 custom audiences, which are those who clicked on your ads in the last 180 days, those who saw your product in the last 180 days, those who added the product to the cart in the last 180 days, and those who have made a purchase in the last 180 days. Now, in each of these audiences, you can create 3 lookalikes, which is specific, balanced, and broad. This will give you 12 different audiences to test. So now you have 4 different custom audiences and 12 different lookalike audiences, which you can create an ad group of. So create 12 different ad groups and start the ad. Now, when do we create a lookalike audience? The more data that TikTok has, the better the audience you'll get. So ensure that you have at least 500 add to carts before you create a lookalike audience for ATC, and that you have at least 100 purchases before you create a lookalike audience for your purchase. Now, you do not need to do all of this together. For example, if you want to gradually increase your budget as well, once you get 500 ATCs, create a lookalike audience of only ATC. Then if you're satisfied with it and you're getting a lot of purchases, then move on to creating a lookalike audience for those who have made a purchase. Now, let's say you have a lot of data and you already have about 2,000 purchases on TikTok, and you're doing more than 100 purchases every month on TikTok. Now, what you do is, earlier you have created audiences for the last 180 days. You can create the same audience for the last 30 days and create lookalike audiences. This will give you 12 more audiences to work with. Now, the thing here is that your target here is not to make everything profitable. The target or the goal here is to find which audiences work the best. Not all audiences will work best. It could be that specific ATC audiences in the last 30 days work better than specific purchase in the last 180 days. Let the data do the work and let TikTok find the best audiences for you. So your job is to see which audiences work best for you and keep those ad groups running. And those that are not working, you turn them off. So the entire goal over here is to test, test, and test. There is no fixed rule to say that this will work or this will not work. These are all different things that you can do. So what I have shared is something that I do to find my best audiences. Not every time is the same audience that will work. So the audiences that work for me will be very different from the ones that will work for you. I've given you a number of strategies, and not all of these strategies will work for you. Some will not. So once again, the goal here is to test, test, and test. Test until you find what is the best for you. Now, after you find what audiences are working the best for you, you move on to scaling with LLA. Let's say you found the top 3 audiences that work the best for you. Now, you can create separate ad groups with a very high budget with these 3 best performing lookalikes. So let's say your specific audience were ATC, purchases, and page browses in the last 30 days, and they're working best. You can create 3 different ad groups of these 3. Give them a high budget and then run them. The second option is create one ad group with all 3 audiences in the same ad group and give it a high budget. Now, if you have more than 3 audiences that are working for you, this is very good. Now, you create 2 different ad groups, the top 3 in one ad group, then the next 3 in the second ad group, and you give them a high budget and you run those ads. Most likely, if all of these audiences have worked for you, then this ad group will also work for you and will give you a very low cost per conversion. If you have any questions, feel free to write to us, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions. We hope that you enjoyed the course. We hope that you learned and made the most of it, and all the best for using TikTok ads. Thank you.